it's Andrea from Create in Spain, and this video is going to show you how to create something similar to the 3D lettered front or sentiment on the front of a card that I just did. I've got here some text which I have made quite large simply so that you can see what I'm doing. It just makes it easier. Normally it wouldn't be anywhere near this size, but it makes it easier for you to see what I'm up to, which is the important matter. Okay, so I've got my text, and this is just text which I have done, and I've made sure that the letters are all joined together by making a union of the path. Now all that is pretty standard. What I need to do are some tabs for the side of the letters so that they can fit into some slots on the card. Now to make tabs is pretty simple. I have here a circle which I drew, and I'm going to take a rectangle again, which I got here, and I'm going to put it approximately, doesn't matter if it's not exact, but approximately halfway over the circle. Select both of them and then go to path, back minus front, and I get basically what looks like a mushroom cap. I have another rectangle which I put on there. Select the both of them and make sure that it is lined up so that it's in the center of the mushroom shape, like so. And then go to path and union, and that gives me my tab shape. Now this one is a little bit big, and I know I'm going to need to make it smaller, but I've made this line too, this one here, so that it is about the same height as the widest point of that mushroom. And so if I'm going to alter the size of that, then I really need to alter the size of that as well. So if I select both of them, and then I can make them both smaller simply by keeping the proportions and pressing the down arrow. I think that will probably do the trick. So they're both the same size in proportion to each other as they were when I started. So what I need to do is to work out where I'm going to put this. Now because I'm using letters and the letters are quite thin, I still need to take a little bit off of the edge of that mushroom. So I'm just going to do another rectangle. It's the easiest way of doing it, I find, because you can see how much you're taking off. And again, go to path, back minus front, there we go. I've shortened it. So I'm going to take that one, I'm going to go to Object and Duplicate, and I want 4 of them. There we go. And I'm going to select my line, and I'm going to go to Object, Duplicate, and I want 4 of those as well. Sometimes, if you're doing something other than lettering, you might want more than 4, but for this particular instance, no, 4 is okay. So I'm going to put that on my letters, and in order to do it properly I really need to zoom in, so I'm just going to put them roughly in place. These two I'm going to put the other way around. Okay, I'm going to put them over here, and this one I think I'm going to have to put on that bottom part of the H because that's the bit that sticks out the most, and this one's going to have to be on the bottom part of the B. But I'm going to zoom in to make sure I get these exactly where I want them. And in this particular case I'm going to use the arrows up here, the nudge arrows, to move it to where I want it. Now I do want it so there is a tiny little gap between the edge of the letter and the back end of that mushroom. And again with that one I want a little bit, just the tiniest little bit of space. And this one I need to move to the right a little bit. There we go. You don't want much space between it, but you do want just a little. And that will do nicely. Okay, Okay, so if I select that now, I can go to Path and Union, and there I've got my word all nicely joined up with my little tabs. Now if you want to, you can do a copy and a paste of one of these tabs and just keep it to one side so that you have it, you don't have to design it again. All right, go to Path and Union for that one. There we go. So I've now got a tab there and a tab there, and a tab on the top and a tab on the bottom for the other word as well. Now if I go to my view and go to fit to window, and I'm going to move this little mushroom out of the way. Now we're going to pretend that this is the same size that I need for my card, and I'm just going to pretend to have a card base here. Okay, so this would be my card base. So what I want to do is to take my wording, not my outer bit, but my, not big enough. Okay, take that lot and go to Object and Lock, because I don't want it moving around while I'm trying to move things over it. Okay, now position it as you want it on your card. Whether it's central or not is entirely your choice. Let's have a look. Okay. Do I want it out there? No, actually I think I'm happy with it is. If you want to use the automatic centering, of course you'll have to keep it unlocked and then lock it afterwards, but I'm happy with the position of that. So what I need to do now is work out where my slots are going to go, and these lines are going to be the slots. So what I suggest you do is take those, go to the colour, make the line width a bit thicker so you can see it, and change the colour so that you can see it more easily. There we go. So they're red, or a pinky colour anyway. You can see them a bit easier when they're that colour. And put them roughly in position, and I do mean roughly in position, because again we're going to zoom in to get them into the precise place that we want them to be at the moment. Okay, so let's zoom in here, and again use the nudge buttons to move it over. Now you want it in the little gap between the letter and the rest of the mushroom. You also want it preferably so that the bottom of the red line is pretty much at the bottom of this little nick in the mushroom stalk, the very base of the mushroom stalk there. That's where you want it to be. And I need to reselect that because it needs to go up a little bit still. Okay, that will do for that one. And I'll select this one. Always seems to select the background for some strange reason. Okay, I think that's about it, but it needs to go up. That's it. And this one here is going to go only so slightly to the left, but a fair amount up. There we are. And the last one that I need to move is that one. I think it's in the right position from side to side. It just needs to go up a little bit. Right, okay. Now I'm going to put the view back to fit to window. Now what I'm going to do is to select both of these, and then with the arrows on my keyboard I'm going to move that in by 1, 2 places. Now that will give me quite a good bend in the word when it's set into position. That will give quite a good curve to the words that you've cut out. If you don't want it to stick out so far, then only put it in 1 tab to the left, or one tab to the right, as in this case. Now I'm going to unlock all. I'm going to click on my word, always try to click on my word, that's not it. I'm going to have to use my layers to move these out of the way. If you can find the right layer, it means you can grab it without moving anything else out that you don't want to move. And find my other union, which is this one, and move that out of the way. So when you cut these words out, you simply slot them in to the appropriate slot holes, and then they will stick out from the card, so you can group that. And if you want to, you can change these lines back to black. It doesn't make any difference what they are now. But because the word is now wider than the gap between these two slits, it will actually force it to be three-dimensional. And that's exactly what we want. Now, if you want to do the one that I did with the black background, all you do is you cut out exactly the same shapes again, but you just snip off the tabs with a pair of scissors afterwards. There's no great sense in bothering to water the file unless you really want to. I mean, if you're going to make a lot of them, then yes, you could just use the eraser and just make it a square eraser and just get rid of the tabs on either end. But you know, if you're only going to make one or two files at the same time, just use a pair of scissors, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's it. I said this particular one is much more suited to being a card which is given to somebody, but it would be great for cards that are used as plate settings or some type of decoration on a table. Thanks so much for watching. Take care now. Bye bye.